the big talk now is AI. Would AI disrupt our business, or, is it going to change our industry? Well, of course it is, and we utilize it a lot, but we see it as an enabler. The staff are needed and we have them in the office, but it means that we can expedite processes a bit quicker. It's not something that we're concerned around in terms of losing any business or anything like that.
So the phrase I've heard, like you alluded to there, was time in the market, not timing the market.
Yeah.
And that one bad day knocks out, if you're playing that sort of game, it can ruin it completely.
One bad day can ruin it completely. It's not about timing, about time in, just getting in and being in and being patient. Warren Buffett said it's the easiest place to take money off impatient people, and it's so true. And he's just a unique example of put your money and just leave it and be patient, and it'll compound and it'll come good.
Hello and welcome to the Business Growth Show.
I'm John from Octopus Computers.
And I'm Adam from Active Internet Marketing.
This is the show where we sit down with business owners, founders and entrepreneurs from Stamford and the Greater Rutland area.
We discuss their journey, look at their wins and their challenges, and get practical advice that you can apply.
New episodes come out fortnightly, so if you want to stay up to date, drop us a follow or subscribe wherever you're listening.
Sean, welcome to the Business Growth Show. If you'd like to introduce yourself and your business.
Cheers. Yeah, thanks. Well, I firstly want to just say thanks, Adam and John, for having me on. It's a little bit out of my comfort zone, this, but I'm delighted to be here. My name's Sean Connolly. My company is Connolly Financial Planning. I'm a financial advisor. I suppose I'll tell you what the three things are in our shop window.
Yeah.
Investment planning, retirement planning and mortgages. They're the main areas of the stuff we deal with. And our shop is on South Street in Oakham. We're next door to Hegarty's Solicitors, just around the corner from Tesco's.
You've got quite a prominent position by the zebra crossing there. It's a great location.
Yeah, it's a top spot. I've seen it in 2024. It was up for like sale or to let, and I thought, that is great. I've got to try and get it. And I managed to put an offer in and get it at the time, not really knowing what am I going to do with it, but I thought, well, this is, when I do set up on my own, this is just perfect. Absolutely.
Was it a shoe shop originally?
It was a shoe shop.
Yeah.
Sid. Everybody comes in and goes, this was Sid's place. Yeah. He had like one of them shoe repair type cobblers. And then the upstairs was a flat and the downstairs was the shoe shop. We like sort of knocked it all through. The upstairs is now my love. You've been in some lovely big office, and we can get a bit of privacy and chat with clients. And then our staff, which I'll tell you about later, our three wonderful staff all sit downstairs. So yeah, it's perfect setup.
When I walked into your office, I remember it's very like Scarface. It's a huge office with a desk there,
got a place
and
where
a
you
big
go, mate.
chair behind it. Yeah, but it's one of the biggest offices I think I've ever been in. But
I originally thought, well, maybe we'll sort of do the upstairs for another business, or they can rent it from us, but. Yeah, I thought push come to shove, I'm having that. I'll have the upstairs office. But it does work great. And to be fair, everybody comes in and says such nice things like, oh, you're such a nice office.
Yeah.
It's probably a major player in what we do, client facing is so important. For me, it is anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, excellent. And tell us a bit about your early career and how it evolved into what you're doing now.
Yeah, so I suppose slightly unusual, my entry I was an electrician for 10 years. Did my apprenticeship and then went self-employed, and from about 19 to 29, and by the time we'd sort of got towards the end of my career as an electrician, we had a few lads working for me. That's how I bumped into you, John, and we did up the offices of Smith Elliott. And it was one night after work, all going for a few, maybe you were there, all going for a few beers, and Lisa Smith said, you'd be good at this job,
Right.
I didn't really know what the job was. All I knew is that, well, it looks...
Sounds the part, doesn't it?
Yeah. Climbing through lofts, and Steve had he's like a nice house and, all that sort of stuff, and he gets to wear nice clothes to work. And I thought, right, well, and I messaged her on the Monday, like imagining her to probably go, I'd had too much to drink, I have no idea what you're talking about. But she did. She went, no, I remember, please, let's get together. And we went and had a chat, and she told me all about it. She may as well have spoke Spanish when she first was telling me about the job and what it entails. But, I felt it was right. I was 27 at the time. And she basically wrote down, look, there's a load of exams. Go and take this exam first and then come back to me. And I managed to pass that one. And then there was another one and another one. And, 15 exams later and letters after my name and all of that. Then sold my electrical business. My apprentice who had trained up by that point, had took it on, and he's really successful now, and he's doing really
Great.
well. He was in the office the other day, and I was having a chat with him, and he's gone on to do great with that. And then fortunately, it's worked out nicely, for me and my family in our world. And then I was at Smith Elliott for 7 years, and then just January 2025 last year, we now set up on our own as Connolly Financial Planning.
Brilliant.
So yeah.
And you've got a big prominent location in the town, as we said, and then you do events there, don't you, as well? So people get to know you.
I mean, in terms of our events, we were quite sort of, my approach to this. We don't do like seminars, inheritance tax seminars or anything like that. It's not really my sort of thing. And we did our opening event, which was just great, informal, canapes, drinks, come and see us.
Sounds good so far.
Yeah, it was great. And then at Christmas, so in Oakham, usually the first Monday before of December, they close down all the streets and all that. So this year we actually managed to get Santa at our office. He's a client. I saw his pension, so I gave him a call, and he came to the office, and it was just great, all for the kids and the families, and again, a few beers, proseccos, and all that sort of stuff. And the office was just ram-packed. And then we've got another event, 21st of August. Put it in your diary. We're doing casino night at the office. Obviously, it's not real. We can't really gamble. Casino night at the office, just that kind of fun money thing. Again, drinks, canapes. But for me, it's more to existing clients come. It's a good fun night. Bring somebody who's maybe not a client, and ultimately feel that if we can, get them to walk through the door, a bit like yourself, Adam, when you came in, you're going, oh, it's a great office.
Yeah.
Then, it's that, and creating goodwill in the local community with the likes of an event like that or Santa Claus is I feel just as important, rather than just saying, look, this is what we do. I mean, I think most people kind of know what we do: mortgages, pensions, inheritance tax planning, and it's not uber exciting, is it? And we'd hope that if Oakham is maybe a bit like Stamford, but kind of everybody sort of knows everybody, don't they? And,
good community. And you're bringing a bit of a fun layer into quite a serious subject.
I think so. And it's how we want to project ourselves, me and my wife Tash, and it's a family business, and the 3 members of staff that we have that are fantastic as well. So we've got this really sort of perfect little sort of setup at the moment that it's just absolutely spot on for us, just how we like it. There's no sort of major ambition to hugely grow or anything like that. Not at this moment in time anyway. Maybe my sons as they grow up, but they're only 2 and 3 at the minute. So and whatever nobody grows up wanting to be a financial advisor. Sooner they be footballers for England or whatever it is that they want to do. It's just absolutely spot on what I feel at the moment, and our clients as well. Sometimes think we're just so lucky. Like, everybody's so nice, so friendly, easy to get on with. We get like tricky points with the business as such, but that's more dealing with, say you're doing a mortgage, you're at the mercy of the banks and third party providers, or somebody wants to move a pension to us, you're at the mercy of those providers to try and get that over. But once they're on board with us, and they get to know the staff really quite well as well. I'm not one of those advisors that blocks. Some advisors like to just deal with the clients, but no, quite the opposite for me. In fact, if the staff can speak to you and deal with it, then happy days. Great, you get to know them as well.
And I guess there's quite a lot of variety of demographic of client you have as well. In the area, there's a big mix of different people, different ages. And,
huge mix. Well, the mortgages is one. I suppose our business is split into 2 elements. The mortgages being one side, and of course helping first-time buyers and helping people move on the property like that is fantastic. That's kind of our sort of, I suppose, bread and butter work. It's kind of regular. We're being a little bit more picky nowadays with mortgage side of things. We can qualify people really quite quickly over like a 3 or 4 minute telephone call.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds good. Let's get you booked in and give you an understanding where mortgages are concerned. And there's that demographic. And then you've got the whole other sort of Rutland demographic of those that maybe don't have mortgages, but they need a bit of wealth planning, or they want to get the better of inheritance tax planning and make sure they leave money to their children and stuff. And so we really do get that sort of split of clients, and so we do get this kind of the broad spectrum of kind of everybody throughout Rutland, and we're a bit being on the high street in Oakham. Or on South Street in Oakham specifically, we do say that we're a little bit fussy. We only really, especially on the wealth management side of things, we only really work with people in the local area. Certainly no ambitions to go down to London or anything like that.
Yeah.
I had specific goal of setting up my business that it's catered for face-to-face. Like the big talk now is AI.
Yeah.
Would AI disrupt our business, or is it going to change our industry? Well, of course it is, and we utilise it a lot, but we see it as an enabler.
Right.
The staff are needed and we have them in the office, but it means that we can expedite processes a bit quicker. It's not something that we're concerned around in terms of, losing any business or anything like that. Rutland and this area, I think, really still demands that people want face-to-face.
Yeah.
Occasionally, through like the website and stuff like that, which you do a fantastic job for us, Adam, but occasionally you get people that are a bit further afield, and we'll say to them, well, listen, you ought to really go and get a second opinion from a local advisor in your area. Go and sit.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be daft for me to sit here and say that I do anything, I suppose, different to any of other financial advisors in terms of what we actually offer. And, if I attend one of your networking events and there's like 30 businesses, almost certainly 5 or 6 of them might be financial advice.
It's that part of the world as well.
I think you're right, John. Yeah. And so that we will always say, even if they come and see us locally, go and get a second opinion. Ultimately, you need to be sat and be comfortable with the people you sat in front of. We'll primarily offer a similar sort of service, but our path or route is very much down that face-to-face. We like to have clients that want to come and see us at the office, or, we can nip and see them and that sort of setup.
Do you think that's driven a lot of the success then? Because it's going well. So, do you think that is the people buy from people and that kind of approach?
Yeah. I mean, when I was an electrician, my favourite part of my job is I was going around people's houses and just like asking them, well, what do you do? And, what's your job? And now I get to do that as a living. People sit in my office and we sit and have a coffee, and I get to be nosy and ask all about their lives and their world, what they do. And I think that that ultimately then it leads on to, well, this is maybe where we can help you or not. So for me, I feel that that's where, I don't know if it's a unique selling point as such, but for me, that's what I enjoy. I really love getting to meet and know new people. It's great. It's great being nosy, isn't it? It's my job.
And you're under the St James's Place banner, aren't you, as well? So tell us a little bit about that and the advantages of that as well.
So there's 2 types of financial advisors. There's those that are independent or those that are tied, and we're tied to St James's Place. Might I add, by our choice. We want to be tied to St James's Place. Their offering is, really quite special. They guarantee our advice, which is quite unique, I think, in the industry as well. We're all in sort of this particular bubble. Me and my clients could really work very well protected. I suppose an independent advisor might say that, well, we have access to the whole of market. We can choose our own. Which, is great, but there's a lot to choose from. Whereas I say, well, look, I was previously an electrician. I've not been brought up through a banking industry. They're the experts that help put together the investment packages, the portfolios, and then we can then present them and support our clients. But, ultimately on that panel, there's one person who I believe was in charge of the BBC pension fund, the Tesco's pension fund, and various other different experts that get together, probably far better qualified than me or any other sort of local independent, I guess.
So people can be really confident that I know they're quite strict with their standards. There's a lot of standards you have to adhere to, and you kind of know what you're going to get, don't you? So it's great that there's that level that's always going to be hit with you as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's for the good. There's a lot of things. Like, I quite enjoy Instagram and stuff like that. And they've been on to us recently about certain things like, listen, you need to have this checked before you put it on. And it's just a funny video, about me and Tash in the office or something. But, it is, I suppose, for the best, and it's for the protection of our clients, and it's the right thing. Of course it is. And then, you'll go to learn a bit more about this, Adam, as well, dealing with our sort of website and SEO stuff. Just everything needs to be compliant.
I think a lot of people don't realise how regulated finance is. Like, they know there's the FCA, but like you alluded to, there's so many exams to be able to do it, and there's so much involved. How long did that take, and how hard was it to go through all of that?
So I did mine. I didn't realise, but SJP did like courses on it and stuff. But there I was as an electrician with the headphones in, like this, like feeding this information into my brain. And I remember the first exam, because the first exam was a sort of bit of everything. You couldn't really put your teeth into anything as such. I remember going to the test centre in Loughborough thinking, if I don't pass this, forget it. I'm not doing it again. But passed it, and then the next exam, but the exams thereafter, you can really dig your teeth into it.
Right.
You know, there's the tax one especially. I mean, not coming from the industry to then getting that tax book landing on your desk that's super thick, and you just all you ever kind of think of is, well, it's just income tax, isn't it? Surely that's what I pay, but it's vast and
22,000 pages, I think I saw it.
It's mega, it's ridiculous.
And
growing. Yeah, certainly with those in charge at the minute, it's definitely growing. And that's another thing. So you pass the exams, but there's two budgets a year. There's spring budget and autumn budget. So the goalposts get moved twice a year, and that will affect certain clients of mine. And so this, ongoing advice and people wanting to pick up the phone or have a chat, we'll meet with them absolutely once or twice a year, but this thing of, being there or available, and that's, they'll have my mobile number or WhatsApp. It's this kind of, it's informal, but that's how we like it. And then of course the staff help, the defence of that sort of stuff as well as the client bank grows,
I hope you're enjoying today's episode. Please remember to like, give us a rating, give us a follow and subscribe wherever you're listening if you're enjoying the show.
So I guess you have to train your staff and filter that information down to them quite regularly and make sure they're confident with it as well as your own knowledge as well.
Absolutely. I mean, previously where I was, I sort of had to share a member of staff, and so you're battling to try and have your work done so you can present it to your clients. So I was conscious of the fact that when I moved, I'm going to have my own staff, and I'm going to have one for each department, plus a front of house. So Nancy, our office manager, everybody knows Nancy. She's just fantastic. Anybody that walks in, she'll deal with. She'll book existing clients in. Plus, she deals with everything else like payroll and bills and all the other sorts of stuff. Libby, who's our newest member of staff, she's really just took to it so well, but she is purely the mortgage side of things.
Right.
Okay. So I'll see a client, I'll give the advice, I'll sign the mortgage up, and then Libby then just basically holds their hand through to getting their keys. Because of course it's a daunting process or stressful. And then Sam, super smart Sam, he's our paraplanner, and he's just purely on the financial services side of things. And so we've got this just perfect setup that the staff are just a wonderful sort of support and complement. And then my wife, Tash, she works 2 days a week, but Tash is our sort of business development manager, I suppose is the right phrase. She's in charge of doing all the events and, all of that sort of stuff. That's the next one we're looking forward to in 21st of August, our casino night. She'll always come to me with this exciting, like, we're doing this, Santa Claus is coming to the office.
Right.
I'm not sure about that, but, before I knew it, I was dressed as an elf. And,
I think she's right most of the time as well.
She probably is, John.
Wives have a habit of being right most of the time, don't they?
How do you find working and separating home and work?
Yeah, well, home life is busy with the two boys, our sons, Patrick and Teddy. And I'm sort of really aware that I've got this relatively, it's probably not unique nowadays, is it? That my wife gets to kind of be at home with the children and I get to go to work, and we work great together at work. But again, I'm busy doing my bit, and then you have the free role to do your bit. Please sort of get on with it, kind of thing, and she does. She's great. I mean, I don't know if have you met her?
At your event before,
She's great at networking. She's like, really like happy. She set up that networking group in COVID and stuff, really on the front foot with all of that. But she did qualify and do mortgage for a period of time. But it just didn't sit right with her. She's dyslexic and, dyslexic mortgage advisor. She wasn't comfortable doing it. And so she said, look, I'm not happy doing this. I'd rather do that. But actually just playing to her strengths, which is the networking stuff. And, you'll probably be dealing with her a little bit more in terms of like SEO bits and bobs. She's just got a good eye for that sort of thing. It's the different way. Richard Branson talks about like dyslexia as a superpower because you just think differently, and she really does. And so we just hopefully play to her strengths, but it's it's nice for her to be mainly like she wants to be at home with the children, and
great.
But have that time where she gets into the office too. So but no, we get on great. We get on like a house.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah,
and it's on film now. That's important. No, it's good. It sounds like you've built a really good team. Actually, everyone's got their own strengths around it. Is that part of the reason you wanted to go and do it on your own, or you wanted to start out with your own office and your own name on the door?
Yeah, it was always an ambition. That's another thing, name on the door. So, it was quite quick that I thought it'll be my name above the door. And, building trust is important.
Yeah.
You've got to really put yourself out there. We didn't want anything that obscure different names. My name above the door in massive capital letters. You can't miss it. Trust is so important. I mean, I've not fully assessed it, but through meetings that we have on like Zoom and the clients are not local compared to meetings where clients walk in the office. I mean, the walk in the office in terms of our succession rate through doing any further business with those clients is massive, because it's a comfortable environment. But, I have friends down in London that are financial advisors in London, and all they do is everything on Zoom and Teams. Right. I don't know. I'm in awe of them. I don't know quite how they do it. But I just couldn't do that. No. The only meetings that I'll do Teams, Zoom is mortgage meetings because it's fairly transactional. These are the mortgages, share the screen. These are the deals. This is right for you. But anything where people are putting their money, you really want to. I mean, I would want to go and sit down and see that person and look them in the eye, sort of thing. So that was important for us.
And is there any big changes in the market coming up, or any big regulatory changes or changes in different products or things that are evolving?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the biggest thing, it's not very recent, is that pensions are now forming part of the inheritance tax calculation. And it's not like you can draw all your money out your pension and put it into trust, because you'll pay a load of tax in drawing it out and putting it into trust. And so there's a lot of people that were under the threshold that are now massively jumped above the threshold. Right. And so it's tricky, and so what that's brought into, because what a lot of inheritance tax approach was also, well, the pension covers that as well. Yeah. Previously, but now the pension just doesn't cover that. It's sensible to pay in. If you're a business owner, you want to reduce your tax. You basically want to keep more of the money you earn. The pension is great, but now it's a lot more. Well, inheritance tax planning, trust. An interesting one actually. I've got to be careful with. I had some clients come to see me about a year ago, late 70s, and they sat and Mr. and Mrs. having a conversation, lovely people. And then just sort of randomly, she said, well, I don't really like him and I want to get divorced. It's like, oh, right, okay.
Did he know?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Imagine that's how she drops it in front of the financial.
She said, the solicitors to your stand.
Well, that was it. They popped in to see me first before they went to the solicitors next door. And they'd been living separately for like many years. And turns out they had children, and I sort of had to ask, well, your children, you love your children, right? They said, yeah, of course we love our children. I says, not met anyone else, have you? And no, of course we haven't. I said, well, you've got to stay married,
for the IHT,
for the IHT. And I said, not only have you got to stay married, but you're not spending that, so you've got to put that into trust as well. So what was supposed to be just nip in and see him, double check that we're okay to do this, was quite the opposite. And then there was many sort of meetings later, meeting their family and having these conversations around why that is best. Yeah. And all in all, it worked out that we
it's a big difference.
Clients of ours, I mean, I like them, they like me, but I don't think they like each other.
But just independent meetings.
No, they like always insist like we've got to be together, which is important. But I suppose that was a relatively unique one that we'd had in the last year or so. But yeah, I mean, it's great. That's part of the job, isn't it? It's good fun meeting new people and finding out about their lives and stuff.
What's been the biggest challenge, would you say, of working for someone and then moving to being your own business owner and working independently?
Yeah, well, this is Adam. You go from just being an advisor in a practice, and then you go from being a business owner. So it's an advisor with all these choices and decisions to make, and to not dwell on something. Even when you get the office, well, how do you want the layout, or where do you want that going, the lighting, right the way through to then the business starting. But it encouraged me, and something I was ambitious to do, to really outsource a lot of the stuff, right from, we have payroll is outsourced, and, all these various other bits of the bobs, anything that will block me from doing what I do well.
Yeah.
So we have Sam in in-house. And originally I spoke to other advisors and they said, oh, outsource your paraplanning, which we did. We tried it, but quickly realised that, no, like I need it in-house, and I need somebody to deal with it. So I can nip down the stairs and, Sam, can we just do that? Can we sort this? What case are you dealing with? Again, it all sort of boils back round to that customer, or client service. And so that felt important to me, to just get everything out my way that I'm not great at. Libby doing the mortgage administration, Sam doing the paraplanning, Nancy doing all of that kind of front of house client stuff, Tash doing all the events that I just get to sit and see clients, whether new or existing. And that's ultimately what the client wants as well. They want to, if it's a mortgage, they might text me or WhatsApp me on a Saturday. It's fine. Or a quick phone call. It's not a problem. We've all been in that position. I was an electrician when I first got my mortgage.
Trade-off of business owner, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, this is exactly it. It was nothing new, really, is it? So the stuff that allowed me to do that, and then delegating, and then actually realizing that they can do that job far better than what I can anyway. I'm good at what I'm good at, and so I just stick to doing that, basically. And we've got such a great. So I'm very lucky in my industry that financial services, you build a client bank, and there's an inflow from that client bank that helps prop up the business as such. And so you get like new income business streams and then ongoing business streams, and a lot of businesses just are not like that. So we're very lucky to have that.
Yeah.
And I'd agreed originally when I'd become an advisor previously with Smith Elliott that my client bank that I build up will ultimately come with me, which was, and they stood by that, which was fabulous, and such great to be able to then carry that over to the new place. It just offers that like support, that foundations of meaning that I can have the staff, and we can hit the ground running, sort of thing.
It makes sense. It has to be a long-term relationship.
Yeah,
and just by its nature, you don't want to be able to get 6 months investment advice. Doesn't quite work, does it?
Well, I mean, that's it. I spoke to some clients yesterday just on the phone. This is another really unique one, and I'm sure that they won't mind me saying. So Mr. and Mrs., she had a bit of a breast cancer scare and got the all clear, and then they decided, we're just going to hand in our notices when we're out of here. And they had a motorhome and they loved the motorhome. But what they decided to do is that we're going to work through the summer season on the sites, managing it, and then we'll build enough money through the winter, we'll then go exploring through Europe. And they've been doing that for years now.
Amazing.
And they initially came to us saying, look, we've got pensions from our various workplace providers, just consolidate them and we look after them. And whenever I speak to them, they're somewhere, different in Europe. And they now, because they originally, I said, look, keep the house and rent it out, because you can get 6 months down the line and realise that this isn't for us. We want you back into the house. But they've been doing it for so long now, they rang me just the other day and said, look, we're selling the house. We're thinking, and we're going to buy another bolt hold, but a bit cheaper.
Right.
So we've got a place. But what do we do with the money in the meantime? But it was a case of, well, what's the gap between selling your house and buying another one? It's a year or 2 years. Like, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Yeah.
It's not a long enough period of time. Investment and growing your money and compounding your money. All of our investment portfolios all have that initial sentence they open with, say, this is to generate a capital return over the medium term brackets. This is considered to be 5 years or more. And so, you know, you in terms of, I'm going into financial advice a bit here now, but I like to sort of say short term, medium term, long term, and we sit in terms of medium term and long term being your pension, short term being cash that you have on account, and medium term being these kind of stocks and shares, ISAs, money you can get access to, but you go, it's a bit of a surplus, don't really need it.
Yeah.
But I want to compound it and grow it better than what the high street could offer me. But you have to have that patience.
Yeah.
You know.
5 years is like the entry start, and it could be 10,
Sensibly.
15, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you know, everybody gets to 5 years and will always go, well, I wish I did more. I wish I invested more. It is, you know, and that's not, I'm not taking too much credit for that. It's the SJP and the investment portfolios and stuff like that. I mean, you get certain, you know, out of 5 years, you'll probably get one bad year and one medium year and 3 good years.
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And it's not about timing it. You know, I was speaking to somebody about this the other week, saying there's 3 types of investors. There is people that have no clue and they'll come to see us, okay, and ultimately we'll probably put them in some sort of diversified, possibly indexed portfolio to put their money into. There's the best investors on Wall Street in New York, and they will put their money into a well-diversified index portfolio. Right. And then you kind of get this middle ground who sort of try and play the markets. And, you know, you just have to let them give that a go.
Right.
And, tend to lose out, don't they? Because it's... So the phrase I've heard, like you alluded to there, was time in the market, not timing the market. Yeah. And that one bad day knocks out... If you're playing that sort of game, it can ruin it completely.
One bad day can ruin it completely. It's not about timing. It's about time in, just getting in and being patient. Warren Buffett said, you know, it's the easiest place to take money off impatient people, and it's so true. And he's just a unique example of, like, didn't he originally, like, one of the first people to buy shares in Coca-Cola and just sat on it? Yeah. And that is it, and that is ultimately how we work and how we approach. You know, we say to our clients, listen, you know, that stuff you see in the movies and people on New York screaming in the stock exchange, we don't really do. It's not like that. You know, you put your money and just leave it and be patient, and it'll compound and it'll come good. You know, and attitude to risk is important. So we have to get an understanding from the clients about their understanding of risk and where to put them in terms of what's sensible for them. But that's where you have them, you know, individual conversations with clients. There was other firms that I'm not really my bag. I don't quite sort of, you know, agree with this sort of thing, but where you do an exam, like it's a 15-point question, and it sort of spits out an answer of their attitude to risk is this. And so you would put them in this type of investment. You know, we were on track to having to do that through some of the legislation and rules. I think it's either been stopped or delayed. Right. But it kind of suited me because my argument was, well, I am an advisor. You know, that's what I am. Yeah. So as much as your attitude to risk is this, as the advisor, you know, this would probably be sensible. You know, if people,
I guess their age affects their risk appetite as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Lots of things affect the risk. Their age, their particular circumstances, when they might need the money, you know, and of course any sort of vulnerabilities in terms of their situations, if people are going through separations or whatever. But age is the key one because time is the key factor here. It's not anything overly unique that me or I don't think any other financial advisor are doing. If you have time, your money can compound, and you're prepared to be sort of reasonably aggressive with your advisor holding your hand, you will have success. There's no doubt about it.
Excellent.
And I guess with it being a longer term view, you're not as worried about world events and these sorts of things because they come and go, right?
Yeah, well, we want a few of them actually. They're not too bad, you know. When you look at, I mean, we don't want COVID. Let's just state that clearly, please. But so more recently, Donald Trump and his tariffs that he did April last year, and then the Iran. You've got this like drop for the tariffs. And then whoosh up, and then drop for the Iran, and then whoosh up, and you might have not have had those really strong jumps had you not had those particular moments. So we had a few older clients saying, "Well, what should we do? You know, you can leave the money, say, in the pension, but move it into cash temporarily." But the idea being, well, we know that there's probably going to be a downturn, but we don't know when the upturn will come. But absolutely the upturn will happen. So just stay in it. Yeah. You're not You're not drawing all your money out. Even if you do take some out, you're only going to take in a fraction out because it's your pension. So just stay in it. And then luckily, it's come up really strong. I mean, the last 8 years, there's been COVID, great recovery after COVID. There was a bit of a drab period of time, almost in line with the invasion of Ukraine and that kind of cost of living crisis and, all of that sort of stuff. That was great for people paying in monthly. I've got some clients that are, say, been with me for about 4 years, and that first 2 years not brilliant, but that most recent 2 years really great. But I'm saying to them first 2 years are better for you because you're paying in and buying them at a discount. The shares are cheaper here, and so I feel that over the long term that'll stand better up here than where this has, because the markets are just going up and up. But ultimately you want a bit of volatility. It's just frightening, but then that's where experience comes into play. And that's where holding our clients' hands and giving them that understanding of this is sensible for you, and adjustments in their portfolios and investments, and giving them an understanding of where we're putting their money.
Yeah, excellent. You mentioned your event coming up in the summer. Is there anything else new, exciting happening? Any big developments?
We've got our casino night, so that's in charge with Tash. We don't know. I don't know if the Oakham late night shopping is on again, because the lady has took a step back, and so we hope that's on again. We love to have Santa Claus back in the office, but what we'll try to do is once, maybe twice a year, some sort of an event to say thank you to our existing clients who have entrusted us, and B, bring someone who's maybe not a client, and this one happens to be at our office. Clear out the desks and all of that sort of stuff, and it should just be a fun evening. I've got a videographer there though, so I'll sneak a few of the clients out the back to do a few testimonials for me.
It's got to work for you.
If they're watching, that's what you're doing.
Fair warning, especially if you win. And if people want to get in touch and find out more, what's the best way of them doing so?
Well, obviously we're on the South Street in Oakham, Connolly Financial Planning. You can Google us, hopefully, find us quite quickly. You can Google us, Connolly Financial Planning. All our contact details are there. Or financial advisor Oakham and all the other bits. Financial advisor Stanford and Rutland, all of that. So I don't think we're all that difficult to get hold of. And most people sort of know the shop, or have been past it, and that's where we get a few walk-ins, or we get people that we always ask, how do you know about us? And they go, well, obviously seen the office, and then went home and seen the website, and we thought we'd just pop in and see you, which is always nice. So
excellent. Perfect. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for coming in, Sean.
Thanks so much for having me both. This has been great. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
That wraps up another episode of the Business Growth Show. Thanks for joining us.
We hope it gave you some ideas or inspiration that you can take away and use in your own business.
Don't forget to drop us a like, a follow and a rating, and hopefully we'll see you soon for the next episode.